Welcome to the Ideal Forever Partner Magnet Podcast, the show where we explore the infinite benefits of creating the relationship of a lifetime, attracting our ideal forever partner like a magnet, and living our best life as the highest and best version of ourselves. I'm your host, Arell Holloway. I'm the results coach, fitness expert, former real estate investor, and founder of UTAIY, Unveiling the Angel in You, and the World Impact Compound Movement. This podcast is for overachievers and romantics that never learned the art of love relationships. That was me. Anyone wanting to improve their relationships and receiving and having, as well as giving unconditional love. And it is also for couples who want to strengthen their existing relationship and take it to an even greater level. The greatest change we make in ourselves in our lifetime is committing with our ideal forever partner, IFP for short. The biggest impact I can make in someone's life is to teach them how to manifest their ideal forever partner. So with this podcast, I'm dedicating to help souls around the world wake up to who you really are and what you really want in life, helping you on your path of learning about unconditional love by creating significant epic relationships that generate happy memories. Stay tuned because you won't want to miss the game-changing advice we're about to share on this awesome journey. The greatest impact in our lifetime. Here's the golden nugget for today. We are the designers of our own life story. We collaborate with others to enhance our life experience. Write your story with intent and write it wisely. There are many impacts in our lifetime. I will discuss the greatest impact in our lifetime in a moment. But first, I want to share what it isn't. The greatest impact in our lifetime is not, and this may surprise you, who wins the Super Bowl or who the Kardashians are dating currently or our current political climate even, or even the war across our oceans of tragedy. One of the greatest changes, if not the greatest change, each of us make in our lifetime is committing with our ideal forever partner. This is one, if not the greatest impact in our lifetime and deserves careful consideration and planning. We are the writers of our own story. Our story requires specific details. When writing our lifetime story, this is not a time to cut corners or save time. If we forget or omit the details, then what we write will be broad and not exactly what we want. When asking for what we want, being specific with minute detail is imperative to being satisfied with the result. I get it. And this might sound foreign to you, and you may not even have many or any role models to look up to as far as a true or happy committed relationship. I understand that. I felt the same way. There are many role models, but you have to look for them. I, for one, was in a 10-year warm and unconditionally loving relationship with my ideal forever partner before tragedy made me a widower. I know it's possible. Believe me, I was the worst at believing this when I was young, especially with my parents as role models. Jaded doesn't even begin to describe how I felt and thereby reacted to relationships. When I was young in my family, we all had to be perfect. We could not have any problems at all. If we did have a problem, then we could not tell anyone, or if we confided in our parents, we would get shamed for it. So my programming became problems equals shame. That was my core program, or became my core program. So I had to figure out how to not let anyone know when I had a problem, ever. You would think that this held me back from solving problems. Well, kind of. I had a different problem to solve. For example, if I had a problem like communicating my thoughts well to others, this was my process. Don't let anyone know I have this problem. Figure out how to communicate with people better without letting them know I was terrified or inept doing so. Solution: impersonate a person that is capable of communicating with others and letting them know my thoughts that I wanted them to know. Not actually my thoughts that I wanted them to know, yet still not disclosing that I had any problems. Now, to some, this might seem like savvy problem solving. I can tell you from someone who made this their modus operandi, it didn't feel savvy. Rather, it felt complicated and energy draining. The thing most people are free to do naturally after learning to communicate their thoughts to others. I had a lengthy and complicated strategy to do the same thing, yet it took me 5 to 10 times the effort and energy that a normal person would take. We only have so much energy. If we spend most of our energy, then it runs out. So I could only accomplish 1/5 to 1/10 of what most people are able to accomplish because I was having to spend so much energy on the things I was trying to accomplish. And the complicated methods of achieving the same or similar goal. The rest of the time, I had to recharge, which was often. Mind you, all this time, I was also manipulating and game playing because I was not allowed to ask for what I wanted. Game playing and manipulating was my or became part of my MO in order to get what I wanted. Again, this took a tremendous amount of energy. And with this type of subterfuge, you never really get what you want. Manipulation is about getting what you want without asking for it. You have to figure out how to get what you want without letting anyone know that you wanted it and have them give it to you without me being excited about it, when in truth, it is what I really wanted. How does that suck? I mean, you know what? That's the way I lived my life. So it was just something to figure out. But the truth is, looking back on it, it's insane. It's absolutely insanity. It's insanity. But if you learn that from your parents, or if you learn that through the behavior of your parents, then that's your normal. That was my normal. Let me give you an example if this sounds bizarre to you. Let's say that I wanted someone to like me and be their friend. I couldn't just be nice to them and allow them to know I wanted to be their friend. I had to figure out what they liked and what they wanted. Then I had to either attain it or pretend to have those things. A facade, a charade. One thing about game players, they think everyone is doing the same thing and operate under that premise. All game players think everybody else is playing games too. I thought that's just what everybody did. I was a kid, I didn't know. Ridiculous? Yep. Complicated? Absolutely. Exhausting? Oh, yeah. But whatever our modus operandi becomes is what we protect to continue and perpetuate. Herein lies the big problem. Remember, it doesn't matter that your program is flawed, screwed up, or illogical. Once it is programmed, our natural habit is to protect, perpetuate, and promote it. So we lock it in and we do the best we can with it until something significant in our life happens where we shift out of it because we found something that means enough to us in order for us to change. That is one of the reasons it is so difficult for us to change our program. Why am I telling you all this? I'm sharing this with you to let you know that if there is hope for an imperfect being such as I was, then anyone can accomplish anything with the right training. Or in this case, with the right retraining. Because I was not allowed to express what I wanted, triggered the very thing that caused anger within us. When this basic human right is withheld from us. And again, when you're a child, you trust your parents. So the information that you get in order to write your program, you think that is coming from a trusted source. Outward, it is expressed as violence. Because I was not allowed to express what I wanted, triggered the very thing that causes anger within us when this basic human right is withheld from us. Outward, it is expressed as violence. Inward, it is expressed as depression. And I'm talking about not being free to say I want. Hand in hand with that went not being allowed to say I don't want. This is the natural cause of rage, which is expressed by us in two ways. Outward, it is expressed as extreme violence, a sudden triggering into rage. Inward, it is expressed as deep depression. If you know anyone that is depressed or has unusual anger that just flies off the handle or just gets angry very easily, then they're not free to say I want. If they break into rages or they go into deep depressions, then they're not free to say I don't want. So I'm not saying that solves everything, but that's a great understanding that we can have, because if we understand what the problem is, then we may consider being able to figure out maybe what a solution could be to help somebody out of that. Uh, As a warning, I'm not suggesting for you to confront someone that's in rage or in anger. Be very careful. It could be a very big mistake. I think you have to judge by case, and you have to also weigh whether you have some kind of rapport with that person. If it's a stranger and you have no rapport with that person, then going up and telling them a truth while they're in rage just may piss them off even more. For children, this is particularly dangerous because when we are not free to express what we don't want, this can attract predators to abuse us because they can smell that we can't say no. For years, I had this anger and rage bottled up inside of me, flipping from anger and rage to depression and deep depression. It was not a fun world I lived in, but it was the only world I knew in order to survive. Needless to say, one day my violent explosion was so great that had circumstances been a few hairs distance different, I could have caused another person, another human being, their life or their lives. That was my rock bottom. This was the point I saw two clear paths in front of me. The first was a path of life in prison or worse, for endangering or causing someone else their life. The second path was to crap. I didn't even know what was on the second path. I just knew I had no choice other than to get on it and see where it took me, because the first path was unacceptable to me. And by the grace of God, which I am extremely eternally grateful for, was I even given this choice. Some people have never even given this choice. I confided in one of my fitness coaching clients about all of the anger I had within me all the time. And I had to do something to end it, or my life was forfeit. He seemed to understand me, even though we never really discussed anything spiritual or personal like that. He said that he had been seeing a spiritual coach for the last 2 years over some things he was struggling with. I currently was seeking a psychologist one day every week and also a psychiatrist one day a week in order to figure out what was wrong with me, much of which I knew But because such things were never talked about openly, I was unsure any of that was even real or I imagined it. Desperately, I asked him why he thinks that this person can help me when these two licensed doctors had no clue in helping me. Alfred said, "She saved my life." I thought, oh, wow, that's a pretty good recommendation. It is also exactly how I felt was what I needed. I needed to find someone that could save my life, or so I thought back then. In truth, what I really needed was someone to teach me how to save my own life. And that's what I got. It took over 8 years, but I reprogrammed myself with my new spiritual mentor's guidance. With everything I had to use and learn to do this, I know I finally tuned tools to not only excel my own program, but also help others with theirs and help them reach their goals and dreams. I have become the embodiment of the transformation process. And once I put all of my selfish things down, I realized that my knowledge and gifts were presents from God to help give me the life I never thought possible, including manifesting my ideal forever partner. I also realized that my gifts are not something I can keep to myself in this world, with so many people hurting. I've set out to help as many people as want to be helped with my gifts. The method I was shown that will help someone the most is through creating their unconditional loving life. The method I was shown that will help someone the most is through creating their unconditionally loving, lifelong, committed relationship. Because it is one of, if not the greatest change we're willing to make within ourselves in order to reach this is awesome, life-changing goal that promises us fulfillment, meaning, and happiness. That's when I created the best place for overachiever romantics to attract your ideal forever partner Facebook group. That's why I am sharing my lessons with you. I want you to have a warm and unconditionally loving, committed relationship with your ideal forever partner, as long as that's what you want. That is why I'm walking down this path and asking you to join me. If your program you're running currently isn't allowing you to manifest and create all of your dreams and goals, then I can help you change it to one that does. If you don't even know where to start with a message to me. That's what I'm here for. I changed everything about myself in order to become my true, authentic self. Do I have further to go? Of course. I will keep changing until my body is physically dead. Then I will go to the next place and adventure. I was not allowed to admit what I wanted. I was not even allowing myself to dream about what I wanted anymore. Everyone has their own story. Everyone has their own reasons for the modus operandi being the way it is and why they're running it now. I'm here as an example to tell you that you don't have to live the rest of your life with a program that doesn't give you everything that you want. There's no reason to do so. If your program doesn't work, then it should be changed. If you want to learn how to change your program, then message me and I'll show you exactly how. I'm looking forward to your awakening, to you choosing the highest and best version of you that is free to create all of your goals and dreams and attract your ideal forever partner like a magnet. Chat soon. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please rate, review, and subscribe to the Ideal Forever Partner Magnet podcast. Your support helps us reach more souls in search of their unconditional true love. Check us out everywhere podcasts. Remember, you have the power to create heaven on earth through unconditional love. This is your life, no one else's. Grasp the courage to strive for the highest and best version of you and live your best life. Thank you for joining me on this epic journey.